now NeNe's out with the reel on the road. You know, but check out who we have with us today, y'all.
Yes.
She is a reality superstar, an actress, a fashion designer. Show some love for our guest co-host for the week, the one and only NeNe Leakes.
Oh, yes.
So happy.
Yes, love.
NeNe, are you ready to dive into this?
Yes.
Here we go.
With 2 hands and a wig.
All right. Yes. Now, the first thing, though, NeNe, is you're doing something that's very close to my heart. You have been doing some stand-up comedy. And you have an alter ego named NeNe. No, let me tell y'all, she's not just doing stand-up comedy. She is selling out shows, okay?
Oh, my God.
With a lot...
I want to see. I would totally go to a show, right?
Give me some more information. How do you enjoy it? What you like about it? What's going on?
Well, I've always enjoyed stage. You know, I've been on Broadway a couple of times, so doing stage is really easy for me. It's really natural. And I don't consider myself a comedian. I consider myself a funny lady.
Now, who is NeNe?
Okay. Well, NeNe is my alter ego.
Okay.
So when I step out on stage, I just change it to NeNe and become a little bit of Lonnie. Yes. And then I just start talking trash.
Really?
Everything about my husband, my children, Lonnie, the real, you know, just everything that's going on. The housewives, everything. It's just a fun night out with NeNe talking trash.
I love it.
That is hilarious.
See NeNe real soon. Real
I gotta see that. Are you gonna be in LA anytime soon?
I am coming to LA. I have to let you guys know my dates, but I've been traveling everywhere, and I've been really, really lucky and blessed. My shows have been selling out.
Yes,
and that's amazing because I know how hard it is to step into that world, and people really love you and support you.
Yeah,
Man, just the courage to get right there.
It's so great.
Well, people have gone to your shows because, you know, everybody on the circuit tells me the reviews, and it's like your reviews are great. It's funny. It's family-oriented.
Yes.
Greg is walking around in the crowd and everything. It's like, it's a good time.
Cool.
Go check out NeNe, a.k.a. NeNe.
I love that.
My son is there, too. My son sell all of my stuff.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, my
It's a
whole
family
family's
affair.
Yeah.
All right.
Like a little traveling circus.
Good for you.
I love that.
Okay, well, NeNe, it looks like actress Scarlett Johansson feels that we all have another side to us. Scarlett, who is in the process of divorcing her second husband, thinks that the idea of marriage is a very beautiful thing. However, she says, I don't think it's natural to be monogamous, to be a monogamous person. The fact that it is such work for some people, for everyone, that fact proves that it is not a natural thing.
Wow.
So, ladies, do you think it's unnatural to be with just one person for the rest of your life?
Well, let me just say, now, if I was Lonnie, I probably would think that way, but you know. No, really. I'm surprised to hear a woman even say that.
I know.
Because I've been, you know, with the men that I've been with in my life, I've been so into them, and I don't have enough strength to be with nobody else but them. I just don't see how you could just mess around. But I do understand where she's coming from, because being known or being women in the industry or men in the industry, you have more of an opportunity. I mean, there's been a few guys that approached me, and I wanted to flirt with them, and I did.
Really?
The gag is we did flirt, okay? But, you know, it didn't go any further than that. It really didn't. But it is hard in the industry. But I like being loyal to my man. It's a natural thing for me. That's just the way that I am. And I've been loyal to most of my partners. I can't say that it has been reciprocated, though.
You know what? I think that's coming from, what she said is coming from hurt. And sometimes when it's coming from hurt, it looks like everything is not, you know, going to go right. And I hate when people give blanket statements like that. Because, yes, monogamy is for a lot of people. And I know this because at the end of my stand-up comedy shows, I always ask, you know, who's been married the longest? You would be surprised at how many people have been married for over 30 and 40 years.
Wow.
So that is encouraging. You know?
But the question is, were they monogamous that whole time?
Well, this is the thing, though. To me, this is the reason why I'm not married, and I think we've discussed this before. You know, I take marriage seriously.
Yeah.
And if you're not ready for it, and sometimes in this industry, we are pressured to get married. We are pressured to have relationships just to stay relevant. And I'm not saying that is what happened to Scarlett.
No.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that sometimes just to have a story, we want to get married or show that we can make ourselves available instead of really concentrating on a relationship. And that's where we fall into that. And then we make these blanket statements about
People get married for the wrong reason a lot of the time. Or if I'm honest, if you find it that hard to be monogamous with the person that you're with, maybe you with the wrong person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Like if it's that much hard work, then maybe it just isn't the right person. And it doesn't mean that something's wrong with them. Maybe they're just not right for you. And then you should go on your search and move on and find somebody until you
Or
do
maybe,
feel that way.
honestly, I think it just depends on the individual. Some people are naturally monogamous. I think, you know, I am. I'm actually very loyal. My best friends I've had for over 20 years, and my makeup artist I've had for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And then there are people who just don't, you know, have that trait. But I do agree with you. I think it depends on the person, and it depends on who your partner is,
Yes.
Yeah.
who you are actually choosing to be with.
You better be careful who you yoke up with. That's the thing. Okay.
Exactly. That's the thing.
Those are facts.
I mean, naturally, I actually do believe that people naturally at some point get curious. People naturally, their eyes start to wonder after a ton of years.
Yeah.
But guys, at the end of the day, God gave us free will. We are in control of what we do and our actions, and you don't have to act on everything you feel.
But you know what?
Absolutely.
Sometimes
You don't have
it's
to
not
act on
even
every
that.
feeling.
You know,
I be wanting to kill people. I'm not a murderer.
Exactly.
You feel me?
And the fact is I think, and this is the reality, just because you're married, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be attracted to someone else.
Exactly.
But very true.
I just
I always
don't
say
wanna
for
be
my
there.
husband that we have a thing in our relationship that I'm not blind. Greg isn't blind.
No.
It's
Right.
okay to look. Why would I act
Yeah.
like I'm blind? So you definitely do not have to act, because I see a lot of fine men.
No, okay. Not trying to be funny. Do you have, me and Tam both feel that we can tell our husbands, like, yo, she's really pretty.
hot.
Like, if I see a girl that's, I'm the first one to be like, babe, tell me that girl ain't mad pretty.
Yeah,
Yes, she
I
is.
do the
Her
same
body's
thing.
banging.
But I also want to say that it's not necessarily about the physical and wanting somebody because a lot of times when you start off in a marriage, it's sweet.
True.
But the thing about marriage is sometimes it can get sour.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to keep going. That's why you make the vows. That's why you say we're going to stay together, you know, and things like that. It's not necessarily a person. It's just the fact that it could be that this person's your partner's going through a hard time or they're not, you know, growing with you. It's things like that. To me, you're supposed to stick in it as long as you can and not just drop it out.
You
You know?
stick in it. I think most importantly, a lot of people don't realize that you stick in it and you have to try to work it out before you can't work it out anymore.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people wait too long till it gets to the point where, like, it's like there's no way to fix this.
Right.
And then they find themselves in really bad situations.
I'm
Exactly.
always surprised when I hear women talk like that, too, because I've been with Greg since 1996.
Dang.
Oh, wow.
We've been together for a very long time.
awesome.
No, we have.
That's over 20.
Yes,
That's
20 years. We've been together since then. We had a bump in the road, but we've been together since 1996.
That's over 20 years.
And one
Wow.
thing that Greg and I do, we date all the time.
I do too.
We
It's
date.
so
We go
important.
out almost every week. It could be something really casual. We don't have to get all dressed up to go on a date. You can go to the local restaurant in your neighborhood in jeans and flip flops.
Or have a date in your room.
Have a date.
Watch one of your favorite shows with
That's
a glass
true.
of wine.
We date all the time.
Well, I want to be a little nosy. When y'all, you know, had the little bump in the road, you know, and you were separated,
Yeah.
you were dating and he was dating other
Yes.
people. Was you mad? Was you get jealous?
I did get mad once.
You did?
Yeah.
What happened, girl?
I drove over to his house and knocked on the door. Who's in here? I just had like this wild hair. Like, I don't know. It was one night I had a couple drinks and I just was breaking all the rules. I wasn't supposed to go to his house.
So you turned into NeNe, right?
I did. I turned to NeNe and knocked on the door. I was like, somebody's in there. Come out. So I just totally did that. I did. I mean, I
How did she
honestly
Was
respond?
somebody in there?
Yeah.
She exit so I can come in.
Look at that. And that's why y'all together today, because you know how to get them out.
Yo,
Exit.
I'm not trying to be funny, but clearly that's like real. Obviously, that's why you're married today. He kicked the other girl out and opened the front door to you. That's
Well,
how
wouldn't
that
you
works.
open the door for me too?
Yes.
All right, now, as long as marriage is, you know, the topic that we're talking about, AskReddit.com recently asked, do you tell your husband or wife each other's friends' secrets? This gets real interesting here. The responses were mixed. So is it right to tell your significant other your friends' secrets?
I have
Don't
to
lie,
admit,
this is the
I've
real.
done it. I've done it.
Yeah, I think it depends on how they paraphrase it. If they say, you promise me you won't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Even your husband.
If you gotta say even
Your husband.
Okay.
And then I say, okay, honestly, I honor the girl code. I believe in the girl code.
Yes.
I won't tell my husband that secret.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
if they do say, promise not to tell anybody, I do tell my husband.
The Bible said the two shall become one.
Yes, I do. Sorry, Lonnie. Why are you looking at me like that?
Like, girl,
Lonnie feels some
I
type
thought
of
you done
way.
told plenty of Lonnie stuff. Lonnie,
Don't
you
tell
done
to me
got-
nothing you don't want.
Yes.
Lonnie,
It's
stop
natural
now.
for us, right, A?
Okay,
It is
I
very
am.
natural.
You know you tell Adam everything. That's why I assume that you're going to tell him. So I just go ahead and tell him before you tell him and I tell you.
She really does, you guys. She really does. You
I'm going
text
through
him. I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Lonnie.
Yeah, because I know.
My husband and I have what we call pillow talk.
Oh.
So that's when we get into bed at night and we just kind of like going over our day or whatever is happening with my schedule or his schedule. And I have to admit, I've definitely told my husband things that some of my girlfriends have told me. But I know my husband well enough to know there's certain things I can't tell him.
Yeah.
So I kind of know what to tell him and what not to
What
tell him.
can, like, an example, what could you not tell him?
She's going to be
Well, I
telling the
couldn't
whole
tell
world.
him like, Letitia is a hooker. I mean, and we hang out all the time. Like, I mean,
Okay.
he would not be here for that.
Got it.
You know, he'll be like, you need to not be hanging with her. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But I tell him a lot of things. I mean, I like if I told Greg one of your secrets that you told me, I don't think it would go any further because he doesn't know any of your people or, you know, it's just.
That's how you
She's just not going to tell him anything. She's just not going to tell him anything that will make him look at her crazy. Is that right? She's like, I'm not going to tell you a secret if it makes me look bad.
Lonnie,
Like, if I'm
stop.
your girlfriend and you out here wilding in these streets, I'm not going
Lonnie
to tell
said
my
that's how
husband,
you
then he's going to think
justify-
I'm wilding too. I understand that.
And let me tell you something, though, NeNe. The reason I am so happy that Munchkin got married, because
Okay.
now I can call her husband. She never used to call me or text me back when I
That is
text
not
her and
true.
I have
I was
something
just late
important.
with it.
No, now I text Israel, and Israel,
Directly.
you know, and I just go directly to him. Whatever I need to say, I know he's going to immediately tell her. And he makes me feel good because he calls me back or texts me back and say, I got it.
He is awesome.
That's
He
sweet.
is awesome.
Awesome.
I will say this, with my friends that have told me really, really private things, I don't tell him. And the dopest thing about him, because we were friends before we got married and before we started dating, the dope thing is if I've ever had to exit the room and say somebody's talking to me, it's private. He never asked me, and he actually really respects that I'm a dope friend.
That's
He's like, that's her and her friend are talking about something that has nothing to do with me, and he respects that.
That's he grown. That's why. That's what happens.
He's like,
when
I don't
you
need to
marry a
hear none of
grown
that. It
man.
don't even
No,
matter.
we don't want to hear that craziness. You know, let me tell you another secret. Many of us women don't want to admit.
What?
Okay.
A study done by the British Psychological Society asked 33 heterosexual undergrads to strap on eye-tracking technology while looking at female avatars. And you know what? The body part that they checked out the most?
What?
What?
Other women's hips.
Ooh.
Do y'all find yourself looking at other women? Like, what the party parts do y'all look at?
Looking at you
Absolutely.
today.
You sure were. Back there, tell them what you was doing.
Honey, I was looking at Lonnie today.
Yes. A lot of people.
Lonnie walked out in the
What's
front of
happening
me.
back here that Lonnie has?
Y'all
I
don't
didn't know.
what
You
happened.
have an amazing
Lonnie
behind.
walked out in the front of me, and I was looking at her like, dang, girl, Lonnie.
Yes.
I was like, Lonnie, I didn't know all this existed back here, girl.
Now you see why I multi-date, all right?
I love it. But like you were just saying, NeNe, I don't think there's anything wrong with finding other women. I'm not gonna lie, I actually look at women way more than I look at men. That's honest. But if a guy walks in, I probably won't even notice. Hey, whatever, dude. And if a beautiful woman, I'm like, oh my gosh, she is. I've been caught on this show by our EP that when some of our guests have walked out during the interview, you know, I'm the first one on the corner. So when they walk by, I'd be like this.
She sure do.
So I like big butts, and I cannot lie. I love a big booty. I like booty. I like boobies. I like
Honestly,
it.
I find myself I
Yeah.
only look at curvy women.
Yeah, like bodacious
I
bodies.
love that hourglass
Coke bottle.
Yeah, that figure. And Lonnie,
Lonnie,
I've been
yes,
looking at
we
your
all
behind
hit
too.
that.
Lonnie
all on you, Lonnie.
It sits
Lonnie,
so high.
It sits so high.
It does.
And she has these two parts of her behind that are just so juicy. And I just like...
Look at it.
I'll be wanting to put this on
Watermelon.
She
It gives me life.
She always pounding my yams. She always pounding my yams. She go, I'm like, they're not bongos.